Figuring out the right price to charge for your product is one of the most important things you can do to set yourself up for long-term business success. And I don't want you wasting your time and energy on the wrong pricing strategies. In today's video, we're gonna walk through the 5 mistakes I see product sellers make over and over again. Keep in mind as we walk through the 5 mistakes, if you recognize some of these, if you've made some of them before, there's no judgment. We all start somewhere, and we'll talk about what you should be doing to make sure you're setting the right price at the end of this video. If you're excited for today's video, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell to make sure you're first on the list to know when new videos go live every Tuesday. Mistake number 1, deciding to charge the same price as your competitor, or maybe $1 or $2 less. If you're starting from scratch and have little to no product pricing experience, this mistake is a pretty easy one to make. We look around, we see someone else is selling something similar, and they've set their price at $25. So we just make the assumption, they look serious, they must know what they're doing, $25 must be the right price for my product. But maybe we want to be competitive, so we say they're charging $25, I'm gonna charge $23. But when we make assumptions like that, 1, you're putting a ton of trust into a person you don't know, and 2, you're assuming they did some market research to come up with that price to begin with, and that they're able to run a profitable business off of that price point. And neither of those assumptions could be true. They may have thought $25 sounded like a good number. They may have seen someone else selling a similar item for $25 and adopted that price too. And it might cost them $20 to make that item. So if they're selling it for $25, they might barely be breaking even, or worse, they could be losing money, and you don't know. So if you aren't sure why a competitor chose a specific price, and you don't know if their business is set up to support that price point, copying their pricing structure puts you at risk for building an unprofitable business. Mistake number 2, asking for suggestions from a free Facebook group. I'll let that one sit there for a minute. How many of you have done that before? Raise your virtual hand. Yep, I see it time and time again. It can be super tempting to crowdsource your prices from other business owners. But if you don't know them personally and you don't know for a fact that they run a profitable business with a well thought out pricing strategy, you risk getting pricing recommendations from people who have zero idea how to set a profitable price themselves, and no idea how to help you figure out what yours should be. In fact, they might be making all 5 mistakes we talk about in this video. And even worse, unless you're posting your financial details inside that free Facebook group, which I do not recommend, they aren't going to know much about your business. So they'll be making recommendations based on their own personal opinions, not based on any hard facts or any data to help them come up with the formulas and the thoughts that they're then sharing with you. Like how much your materials cost, or how long it takes you to make the product, or what your hourly rate is, or whether you're making your item in a factory, by hand, or with a team. All of those things make such a difference to how you set a price for your physical product. If you really, really want to pull an audience, if you just can't help yourself, instead of asking them, what would you pay for this item, ask them to share their favorite pricing resources. That way, you can do your own research, figure out a pricing method that works well for you, and make data-driven decisions about your own prices. Mistake number 3, choosing a number just so you can avoid the math. This is one of my favorites, and I totally get it. I'm betting none of us took product pricing as a course in school, and math can be totally overwhelming if you don't know what you're doing or where to start. But pricing willy-nilly without a strategy is a surefire way to build a business you can't sustain. No money to pay yourself, no money to hire help when your business picks up, and no time to go back and fix your pricing because you're too busy scrambling to fill orders and hoping you make a couple bucks in the process. Mistake number 4, setting a price based on what we think we'd pay for our own product. As human beings, and this seems especially true if you make a product by hand, we tend to undervalue our own work, and we struggle to charge prices that lead us to be fairly compensated for our efforts. Sometimes we struggle because we have a hard time spending money on ourselves, which then makes it hard to understand why a customer would want to spend money on our product. And sometimes we just don't feel like the work we do is good enough to sell. But here's the thing. At the end of the day, if you're working hard to deliver value to your customers, you have every right to make money off of the work that you're doing. You wouldn't work a full-time desk job for free, so why is it okay to work in your business for free? Your talents have value. Your products have value. And there is nothing wrong with asking someone to pay for that value. Mistake number 5, asking friends and family how much they would pay for your product. I saved this one for last because a lot of business owners make this mistake. So if you're one of them, please don't feel bad. You are absolutely not alone. It's so easy to assume that because our friends and family love the work we're doing, or because they're super supportive, or because they're potentially our target market, they'll be great resources when it comes to figuring out the right price to charge. What we don't realize when we ask people how much they'd want to pay is that we all have our own biases when it comes to thinking about how much we'd be willing to spend on something, especially when we're asked randomly out of context, like at the dining room table in the middle of a family dinner. People have a tendency to respond to money questions conservatively. I'd rather not pay more than $30. Or I'd probably be willing to spend $20. But the reality is, our willingness to spend money is dependent on so many factors. How much money we have in our wallet that day, whether we're searching on Amazon or Anthropologie, how luxe the product's packaging is, whether or not the lifestyle presented in the product photos is the kind of life we really, really want to have. Ultimately, our willingness to spend, unless it's something like toilet paper, has less to do with how much we're willing to pay and a lot more to do with how much we value the experience the product is going to provide for us. And that value is hard for people to put a number on. Does that all make sense? Type yes in the comments if you're following along with me. And if you've been listening to these 5 mistakes and you're realizing you might need some help figuring out how to set a data-driven price, below this video I've included a link to my free product pricing roadmap. Inside the roadmap, I walk you through the simple system I've developed after working for major retailers for over a decade, plus launching my own successful shop, The Graceful Goose. My pricing roadmap has helped thousands of sellers just like you figure out the perfect price for their product, and I can't wait for you to jump in. Again, the link to grab it is in the description right below this video. Hopefully you found this video helpful. If you liked it, make sure to give it a thumbs up, share it with your business bestie, and be sure to subscribe to my channel to catch all of the new content coming your way every Tuesday. Can't wait to catch up with you in the comments.